Hello everybody, it's Final Rich here. I'm going to do a video. Went to Amoeba Records yesterday. First time I've ever been to a record store on Record Store Day. Black Friday Record Store Day this was. I went to Amoeba Records I think last year, the day after. I'm glad I went on Record Store Day. I didn't go wait in line or anything like that. I went like at noon, more than 2 hours after it opened, and there were no lines. It was great, and there was no traffic because it was a holiday, so it was really cool. Today it's probably at least 20 degrees colder, heavy winds, and it's raining, so I'm glad I went yesterday. There were 4 things that I wanted, actually 5. But I figured I would get 4 of the 5 that I could find. I put myself on a budget. I didn't want to spend more than a certain amount, and that's what I did. I did pick up one thing that wasn't a Record Store Day release, and that is Christian Death Wish, is it? Yeah, Death Wish. This is a reissue of their earliest recordings. I have the original of this, but this one here has 5 additional songs. Plus it came with a booklet. My version of the original did not come with the booklet. And very cool album. Clear vinyl. Really good. Like I said, it's Christian Death's very first recordings. Only one song. One song was used on the Hell Comes to Your House compilation, Dogs. And it's really good. Okay, I'm going to show these in order. There was one item from Record Store Day that I wanted to get, and that's the reason I went. I didn't want to buy it online. I would have though, because there is one item that I did want to get, and when I first heard about it coming out, I knew I wanted that. Then after looking at the list, there were 2 items that I knew I really wanted, and then there were 3 or 4 that would be cool. I looked at the Big Star Volume 1, like outtakes and demos from their 3rd album. I put that one back and settled for these 4. And this one here, the Ramones Live at the Roxy, I believe this is the first time it's officially been released on vinyl. I do have this on CD. I tend to listen to CDs in my car, and I tend to listen to vinyl at home, so this is a cool addition. This is limited to 10,000, and I have number 4,394. Very cool. And it's on black vinyl. Oh, I'm not going to take it out. Pretty cool labels. Ramones. Now this next one was not on my radar until Thanksgiving. I had to work all week. This is the first time ever in my life I've worked 7 days on the week of Thanksgiving. I had to work Thanksgiving night. I had to work Friday night. I'm going to have to work tonight. And I have to work Sunday night. So it was pretty slow, but I was there. And what I was doing, I was looking through the list and looking up bands that I wasn't familiar with and just listening to them on YouTube. And this one here, what is it called? See, I don't even know the name that well. Electric Wizard. This is a reissue. For me, Record Store Day items, I like to get stuff that's never been released ever or never been released on vinyl. This one here I made an exception because it's a band I know nothing about. Doom metal, sludge, I guess they call it. I don't know much about the new metal bands, but from what I'm hearing, I think I like the doom metal stuff. And I listened to this thing online twice, all the way through. Really cool. And they had 2 copies of it, so I picked up one. I sliced the, what do you call it? The shrink wrap. I haven't looked at this yet. This is the cover. I think this is taken from a horror movie. And there's a lot of horror movie references in the song titles. And there's some horror movie stuff going on here. The name of this album is Which Cult Today? And it's really heavily influenced by Black Sabbath. Got some cult pictures. Pretty trippy stuff. I didn't expect that to be in there. And I believe it's on colored vinyl. I think it's clear and red if I remember right. Yeah, this is side 3. Clear vinyl. Very cool. From what I'm reading, I've always thought, or I was under the impression from what I had read, that black vinyl is actually the best sounding vinyl. But I've read recently that actually clear vinyl even sounds better than the black. And the other one is on a gray. Really cool. I dig this album a lot. This is a reissue. This album has been released before, but very limited runs, like of issues of 1,000. I don't believe it's in print right now on vinyl. You can get it on CD, but pretty cool. Yeah, this is pretty trippy. Okay, leads me to the last 2. The 2 that I absolutely knew I wanted to get. And this one here is Good God's Urge. It's Porno for Pyros' 2nd album. 2nd and last, I guess. This was never released on vinyl. I kind of like this better than their first album. This is a really good album. It's real subtle at times. A lot of acoustic stuff. Really quiet. It's got some moments where it rocks, but generally it's a pretty subtle affair. Really, I recommend this album. It isn't your typical 90s sound at all. Came out in 96, I believe, originally. But yeah, I give that a big thumbs up. Now this next one, is the album that I knew I wanted to get. Out of the whole list, I knew it came out recently on CD. I think it's Nexus 1. I'm sorry if I got your name right. He showed this, and this was the one he wanted to get. And it's, ladies and gentlemen, the Bangles. This is all their early stuff. Great. I have the first 8 songs on this. First one is Bitchin' Summer Speedway. It's a surf instrumental, which is on Rodney on the Rock Volume 3. The next 2 songs are Get Out of Hand and Call on Me, which are both on their single when they were called the Bangs. They had to change their name. I think it was a band back east had that name. And they changed it to the Bangles. And they released an EP, which is the next 5 songs are that. I also have that EP. And then after that, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 demos, a couple of live tracks. In fact, this live track here, 7 and 7 is, I believe, let me look at it real quick. This is the inner sleeve. Yeah, 7 and 7 is track 7. I'm sure. Yes, it was recorded live at the Palace, 1984. I was at that gig. That was actually a gig. It was a benefit concert for Brian Wilson. The Bangles were the reason I went to that gig. They were spectacular. There were a lot of other bands that played. The Bangles were the best band of the bunch. It ended with Brian Wilson, and I was surprised. Brian Wilson was excellent. I wasn't expecting much out of Brian Wilson because I know I think he had strokes, or I don't know, he had some issues. But he was, man, he could really sing, really good. And like I said, though, the Bangles were the best group of the bunch. The Bangles are one of the original. This is a red vinyl. The Bangles were one of the original bands from that Paisley Underground. And quite frankly, I saw quite a few of those bands live. The Bangles were the best of the bunch live. And they had 3 great vocalists, and that's what put them over the top. But yeah, side 1, I'm really familiar with. Like I said, it starts off with a Bitchin' Summer, Speedway, a surf, guitar. Really, she is a good guitarist. And she is an excellent drummer. They were a great band. The single, it's reminiscent of Beatles. The guitar sounds of the Byrds, and there's some more of that. And then there's also some garage leanings. The Hog's Ear Report, I'm sure you would like this. Dead Wax 66, I'm sure you would like this. This sounds nothing like the Walk Like an Egyptian. In fact,